Hey guys, I was supposed to do kind of wanted to play some replays here. If you don't mind me just playing against Mermail, play just reports, and just kind of wanted to get into the ban list. And what's the ban list promise, and what's the cons and what's the pros? Obviously, there's really no cons. Well, maybe other than Regeki coming back, but that card's completely irrelevant anyways, considering we have so many ways to stop it. But what this ban list means with Glow Bulb coming back, that was no surprise because Legendary Collection 5Ds. And what that means is Gigavize is back, Zombie Plants are back, so now we can make level 5 Synchros like no tomorrow. Mermails now have another toy to deal with, and now Light Swarms have another toy to deal with. Shadows have another toy to deal with. Because Glow Bulb is just that awesome. But other than that, how will this affect the upcoming set with the new deck coming out, the Cleforts? Well, it really isn't going to do diddly squat. Now here's why. Now, Cleforts, really what they fight with is pretty much with their constant searching all the time and just being able to always maintain field presence. And it doesn't really matter if you Regeki them because they're just going to come back and punch you in the face for massive damage next turn if you don't have an answer for it. I mean, granted Regeki is an answer, yes, but it's a temporary answer. A temporarily answer. But I mean, it's no Solemn Warning, so of course Solemn Warning can't stop Pendulum Summons, because that's technically by the effect of a spell card that's actually out there already, kind of like Future Fusion was. And I don't really care about what people think about Cleforts or how broken they are, because quite honestly they haven't played the deck enough. Because they maybe see like a couple replays of it and it's all about the OTK and they like, oh, it's broken, yeah. It's not that broken, guys. Come on. I've been trying to playtest it without people rage quit on me, and I've noticed that it's kind of hard to get Tool into your hand without completely killing your consistency. I mean, I'm playing tested with one Odd Eyes granted, but there is a thing called 3 MSTs, folks. That's why you have 3 Summoner's Art and a Odd Eye. You have 4 Searchers on top of the 2 other copies of the same card in your deck. The only way I would ever put more Odd Eyes in my deck is if Tool got limited to 1. That's it. That's the only reason. And as you could plainly see here that even like in this duel, like against Mermails, I kinda had to play it grindy and play smart against them, because if I was gonna go for Herb Derp OTK, which I wouldn't have the time for anyways, which is the worst version of the deck, anywho, then he would have flat out smacked me in the face. Because he already had TT and Lance face down, even though I didn't know about it at the time. And what I like about this list is that a lot of decks can flourish. Now that Gale's back at 2, I can see some form of stun decks coming back, kind of like with a Gale / Fossil Dynalock coming out. Some decks may play Gores, but at the same time I don't think Gores is that really important, because Gores is one of those cards that it was a good thing of the past, but in all reality it doesn't do shit anymore, because even though he can't get Solemn Warning, he can still probably get bottom list, because that's after a successful summon, so that's after the damage has been dealt and calculated and whatnot. Because Gores is after damage calculation. It's after you take the damage. So, even though Solemn Warning can't respond to it, you can still as hell Bottomless it, you can still Fiendish Chain it, you can still Bouncer it, you can still Breakthrough Skill, Divine Wrath it, whatnot, you know. But I don't know, it's just weird rulings in this game. It makes no sense to me sometimes. Like, this game is just one hell of a mess that just needs to be fixed really bad on the rulings. But the part of the problem with rulings, though, is that just the way the cards are and just how many cheaters are in this game, and they try to work every single angle of the game. Be saying, well, so and so forth says it like this, so therefore it works like that. That or that is worded such by this way, so it works like this way. And it sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it really doesn't. It just, there's really no good explanation in the game, you know? And I'm just gonna, I mean, there's really no point to this battle here, because I pretty much just go ahead, smack him, summon a monster, he TPs, whatever, fine for me. But, other than that, do I like this list? Yeah, I do. I mean, Magician of Faith is kind of irrelevant at this point, because cards like Skill Drain are out now, and it's not entirely broken. Sure, it gives Spellbook something, but what are Spellbooks really doing on the competitive scene right now? Nothing, because there's cards like Shared Ride, Mistake, and Thunderkick. That's a good, at least 7 cards against that deck, on top of Macrocosmos and all that fun shit. And on top of that, you know, Mermails ironically aren't on the top of the menu anymore, because of the fact that there's just simply some decks that are just way too fast for them. As fast and just retarded as that deck is, you know. They already lost 2 soul charges, or 1. I thought they played 3, I could be wrong. Because of, you know, trying to protect their resources and make free seats for days, but other than that. And I don't know what they were thinking when they brought Rhoda back to 3 though, other than bring heroes back. But honestly, why do 6 AMs need over 8 different searchers? Why do they need it? I don't know. And heroes have over 6 different searchers, but at least heroes are relevant. 6 AMs could be relevant once again, but I don't know, there's just so many faster decks out there. I think they did the right call on hitting Shadal's, because that deck was way too good. Because if you mix that deck with heroes, oh my god, is that shit retarded. I mean, you can go, okay, Armageddon Knight, or even Blazeman for that matter. You can go Blazeman, send probably like Armageddon Knight, and then you could Soul Charge, and then you can go into sending the Hedgehog or Lizard, whichever sends another one, just for deck thinning purposes, and then you send the one that adds a fusion card to your hand, the Shadal fusion, and then you set Super Power, of course. You activate the Shadal fusion. You can go ahead and fuse probably Blazeman and another Shadal in your hand, and get that card's effect off as well. Make like an Ega Crystal or a Winda, and then you can have that Shadal, that Super Poly set to make your other Shadal fusion. Just utterly just finish the deal, you know? Just, there's really nothing you could have done to stop that deck at that point. However, you know, now that the banlist has actually hurt them, and it's hurt heroes too, because now they don't have 3 Super Polys anymore. They have the 1, and only the 1. However, I feel like Shadal Heroes is probably going to be the best one besides Shadal Artifact. Although, in all reality, the deck should really be called just Moral Attack and Friends, because that's all the artifact variants really are anymore. It's just Moral Attack and Friends. That's all it is. You add moral... Yeah, it's called Shadal's plus Moral Attack. That's all the deck really is. It's no point in calling it an artifact deck if it's not running over a good portion of the artifacts. Now, anyways, now back to this whole ban list discussion. This was a good ban list. This was the ban list a lot of people have been waiting for, although not quite the way we expected it. I mean, yes, we expected Glow Bulb to come back, but didn't really expect Gale to come to 2. Now that Blackwings have more of their firepower back, why would they need anything else back? But there's just some things that I'm surprised they don't hit, or surprised some things they bring back, like Ceasefire. But then again, I could be wrong, because they are trying to promote the newer cards out there, and it could be a reprint in that set. It's probably why they brought it back, but that's another discussion for another day. But other than that, yeah, it's just finishing up this second duel here against the Mermail player, and basically same thing happened. Is I made him run out of resources, and this was game 2, obviously. He smashed me in game 1 because I ran out of resources and I was stuck with a killer in hand, and I had no way to get my my fortress onto the field because I didn't have my tool, and that just really hurts. Like I said, the deck can still lose pretty hardcore. It's one of those decks that you love to play, but a lot of people hate you for playing for it. I mean, there's a lot of decks that are out there like that. I mean, I don't really care for Evil Swarms. I tried it. I vomited at the very idea of just holding the cards in my hand, because that deck just doesn't really do much. It just sits there on one card all day long. It's like hats. It just doesn't do anything. It's just there to just punish you and annoy you. It just swats at you with a fly swatter is basically what it does. It's not like it's not like Mermails or Mermail Lanteans, as we used to call them, or Water, or Mermails plus Atlanteans. But that deck is just extremely aggressive. I mean, it's not like -1 Fire Fist. It's not like outright OTK either. The deck kind of operates in a way similar to Dark Worlds, but at the same time, it's not as douchey. It's not so much hand control, it's so much more field control. I guess that's why people hate Dark Worlds more than Mermails, because Dark Worlds are able to control your hand, and they all can activate all the viruses, and they don't care about, like, skill drain, and they can all go off the grave. And you're like, oh yes, I finally have Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, and they're like, haha, that's cute, MST. And you're like, well, fuck, scoop face. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It kind of pisses me off about the deck. It's just so much the control factor is way too real. I mean, I understand you have to have some control in order to win the game, but I mean, you don't need to sit up behind 4 back row at all times. I mean, granted, you will have those hands that are like nothing but spells and traps. You're like, oh man, wish I could have a better hand than this, and you just kind of have to play through it. I mean, granted, Evil Swarms are a good deck, but that moment when you draw a Rescue Rabbit and you draw 2 of your Heliotropes, that's the moment when you grab the butter knife and you slit your throat. So, yeah, it's just, I mean, what I personally think will start topping is Gigavise again, because that deck is just insane. I mean, Sax Swarms will be really good again, but more than they already are, because of that insane-ass Glow Bulb. And then that in combination with, like, Plague Spreader, it's just, oh, it's ridiculous. Because you could have, like, a Fleece in hand, you can use Plague Spreader to stack it, then you use Glow Bulb's effect to send it, it special summons itself, boom, now you have a good Plague Spreader, a Glow Bulb, and a Fleece on top of what other 2 monsters you already have on board. Which at that point would probably be a Lumina. That or whatever monster you want to use for like a synchro summon of some sorts. Because Oil Bulb is just way too good. I felt like it's probably only going to be... I feel like it's only going to be back for maybe like one ban list. And then it's going to be like immediately banned afterwards. That, or if nobody's playing decks that really use it, then it could be, then it could stay at 1 for a little bit, but in all honesty, there's going to be that one guy that says, oh, hey, I'm playing a Shadow variant that uses Oil Bulb. Go ahead and play this card now. And the card becomes super retardedly expensive, and then nobody can afford the damn card because they had to waste their money buying cases upon cases of Legendary Collected 5D. Now, the fact that, although the fact that they finally got rid of Soul Charge to 1 really does put some faith back in the game, because you no longer have that auto win card, you know? You don't have that, oh man, he got rid of my Orpheon, oh wait, there it is, Soul Charge, just go ahead and get my shit back. Yeah, you did all that work for nothing, bro, I'm sorry. That, or, oh, I make Beals number 1, Beals number 2, oh hey, Soul Charge, let's make a third one, say fuck it. That, or, oh okay, I'm gonna go ahead, make Quasar number 1, Quasar number 2, Soul Charge, and make a Tech Genius Halberd Cannon. Good luck, have fun. You know, it's not that we will no longer have those ridiculous plays as consistently anymore. Because it will be kind of like one of those random cards you top deck into. Or at least I hope it is, unless people still stack their decks, which I wouldn't doubt. But, well, I guess what I also don't like about the ban list too is that it kind of takes away attention from cards like Dark Hole. Honestly, like, Dark Hole was one of those cards that everybody played because they needed it like a board wipe of some sort. Or they wouldn't play Lightning Vortex anymore because, oh, guess what? They have Regeki now. Why would you ever need to play that now trashy card, you know? Because now you have Regeki. If people play anti-Regeki because of Regeki, I don't know what I would say about that. I would probably slap you. But there's really no need. Because, I mean, there's Starlight Road, for 1. And 2, there's some cards that are already immune to that shit in the first place. And then there's also My Body as a Shield, which is another card. But I guess I could put it on par with Starlight Road. Starlight Road's I think it's a counter trap. Either that or it's a regular trap card, while My Body's a Shield is a quick play, but it costs you like 1,500 life points. That's the only problem with it. But other than that, I could probably see some dirty plays with like Spellbooks and Regeki and like Rendition of Faith, continuously getting back your used up Regekis or something like that. I mean, granted, do I think Spellbooks could possibly spring onto the scene? Fuck yeah, they could. I mean, Psychics are probably going to come back, and Jeff Jones, I know for one, might play them. Might play them if nobody else net decks them, for one. But I can understand, you like the deck, you want to play it, and you want to test it, but you need to build a base it off. However, do I feel like you need to copy the deck card for card? Maybe for like a few duels and that's it, but just to see what card you really like and don't like. But if you somehow think exactly the same way as he does, like, yeah, it's fair. Just get out of the closet, please. Just grow a few extra stem cells, for God's sake, and get off the faggoty ass My Little Pony videos that you somehow for some reason love to watch. But, God. Yeah, so, I guess, you know, this is, just my thoughts on the list that's out now, and what could potentially come back, and what could potentially, kind of falter. Because, personally, I think Gigabytes is going to be a big hit amongst people, along with the, triple Quasar decks, with the, like Doppel plants or quick draw plants. I think those would be very popular. But other than that, let me know what you think of this list and what you think you will be playing and what decks you would love to see just ultimately fail. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.